Welcome back to our final look at nonfiction signposts. And we are still using the strategy of using these signposts to find clues to what the author is saying. We know that key details is just a fancy word for signposts. We know that signposts are in many different types of media, not just in articles, and that some of that media is nonfiction. And the big idea that we are always connecting back to is that if someone is trying to share information or a story with you, we should be on the lookout for signposts. We've already talked about words of the wiser, again and again, and tough questions. We talked about memory moments, aha moments, and contrasts and contradictions. And so today we come to the signposts that were originally created for nonfiction. We still find those signposts in fiction, so we've learned how to find them. But these ones were intentionally created for nonfiction. So let's take a look at what they look like. The first one, let me get my drawing tool. The first one is numbers and statistics. Now in fiction, we talked about how that's when the author chooses to use specific numbers in the text. They might give you a year or somebody's age or how much money was spent. In nonfiction, that's any time the author gives data in the form of numbers. That could be dates, amounts, or percentages. So you can see that those are really similar to what we're looking for in fiction. The author might just be doing it for a different reason in nonfiction. You have to really ask yourself, what do they want me to see with these numbers? The second signpost for today is extreme or absolute language. In fiction, we talked about how that's when the characters seems like they're being dramatic or over the top, or when they're using hyperbole. In nonfiction, it's when the author uses that all or nothing language to imply really intense ideas. And words to look out for are words like always, never, total, none, or complete. If the author is implying all of something or none of something, they're trying to show you a really big idea. They might be being dramatic to try to convince you of their viewpoint, but they might also be saying, hey, I really need you to see that this is important. If I am reading an article and it says no passenger pigeons survived because they were hunted to extinction, the author really wants me to see how severe it was that they became extinct. There are none left. All right, and our third one down here is word gaps. And in fiction, we talked about word gaps are when the characters or the author use specific words that you don't know yet. We also later added the ideas that they might be words from other languages, or they might be words used in a way that you didn't expect. So stop and think for a second when you get to fiction about how they're using their words. In nonfiction, those word gaps are when the author uses really specific vocabulary words that connect to the topic. Sometimes they call that domain-specific vocabulary, words that are really specific to that topic. So we're going to read an article in a little bit, in a couple days about earthquakes, and they're going to talk about really specific earthquake vocabulary. When we were learning about different Native American groups prior to contact with the Europeans, we learned a lot of really specific vocabulary about what types of homes they built and what types of foods they ate. So when you are learning about a scientific or historical topic, you're going to get really specific vocabulary words. And when the author chooses to use those, that's a clue that it's really important. All right, so let's take a look at this article. This is an article about lightning, and we're going to be on the hunt for those three signposts. We are looking for numbers and statistics. We are looking for extreme or absolute language. You write EX. And we're also on the lookout for word gaps. When are they using really specific vocabulary? All right, here we go. When lightning strikes, thunder provides a wake-up call to head indoors. Under the photo there, it says it's from the World Almanac for Kids. When thunder roars, go indoors, says meteorologist Ron Hall. Ooh, that looks like words of the wiser to me. Scientists say lightning strikes the surface of the Earth about 100 times each second. Thunderstorms are most frequent during the spring and summer. Experts warn people to be especially aware of the dangers of lightning during these seasons. Already found numbers and statistics. I'm going to write NS. And then I'm going to think, why did the author use that? 100 times a second. Well, that's a lot of lightning. I think the author wanted me to see how frequently lightning is striking the Earth. All right, let's keep going. Forces of nature. Lightning is the flash of light that occurs when electricity moves between clouds or between a cloud and the Earth. The huge spark of electricity is the tiny kind you get when you run a comb through your hair or scuff your feet on a carpet, only much stronger. A lightning bolt that crackles through the air can reach a temperature of 60,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is about 5 times hotter than the sun. The intense heat from lightning causes the surrounding air to expand, resulting in the loud sound known as thunder. Thunder is nature's warning to head indoors. As meteorologist Ron Hall from Tucson, Arizona told Weekly Reader, "When thunder roars, go indoors." A meteorologist is a scientist who studies weather. Hall also recommends following the 30-30 rule. If you hear thunder fewer than 60 seconds after you see lightning, head indoors. The storm is only about 6 miles away. After the storm ends, wait 30 minutes before going outside. To determine how far away lightning is, count the seconds between the flash and the thunder. Every 10 seconds equals 2 miles. Whoa, I think all of our signposts were in that section. There were lots of numbers. We learned here that when lightning crackles through the air can reach a temperature of 60,000 degrees. Wow, why would the author use that number? Oh, they wanted to show us how ridiculously hot that is. In fact, they even went on to use extreme or absolute language afterwards. That's about 5 times hotter than the sun. That sounds really dramatic. Why would they say how ridiculously hot that is? I think they really just want us to understand how hot it gets. I also noticed this word down here, they defined it for us, a meteorologist. A meteorologist is a scientist who studies weather. Well, that would be word gaps. They're teaching us really specific vocabulary that has to do with lightning and weather. So we found numbers and statistics. We found extreme or absolute language, and we found word gaps. Let's take a look at this next section over here. My cursor will let me. There we go. And let's see if we can find any other signposts there. Play it safe. Lightning strikes the ground in the United States about 25 million times each year. Although getting hit by lightning is unlikely, it's important to stay safe. In the United States, about 60 people are killed each year by lightning. To stay safe, follow the golden rule, head for cover. There is no place outside that is safe from lightning, Hall said firmly. There are 2 safe places inside a permanent building there are 2 safe places inside a permanent building or a metal-topped vehicle. Lightning expert Ron Hall shared the following tips with Weekly Reader. Find shelter in a building or a metal-topped vehicle, not a convertible, and close the windows. If you're caught outdoors, stay away from open spaces and avoid standing near tall objects, such as trees. Avoid using electrical equipment, such as computers, TVs, and phones. Cell phones are okay. Stay away from sinks and showers. Lightning can travel through water pipes. Wait 30 minutes after the last sound of thunder or flash of lightning before going inside. On the next slide, I'm going to ask you to help me find signposts in this second section.